Hey everybody, it's GALTA, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of MTG Foundations. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one pick one. I think the strongest pack one pick one here is probably Stab. Efficient removal is just at an absolute premium in this format, and black is one of the best colors in the set. But GHALTA is also super fun, and I have played a criminally low amount of green because I think it's a pretty poopy color in this set. But if you get some of the really powerful green rares, it can still be worth playing, and GHALTA is one of those few rares. So we're just going to go for some fun here. Let's see if we can draft our first green deck in quite some time, and maybe green-white could be a direction to go, seeing the Good Fortune Unicorn, putting a +1/+1 counter on every creature that we play. There are some good synergy pieces for that card, like the Gnarlid Colony here. Alternatively, there's two Luminous Rebukes, so if we're really lucky, we could take like a Luminous Rebuke and wheel the Good Fortune Unicorn. Obviously, the worst case scenario there is somebody takes the Unicorn and then tries to play green-white, and then we also end up in green-white. Now there's two green-white drafters, but if they're at the other side of the table, then it's fine. We can compete over the color pair. The other nice thing about taking Rebuke over Unicorn is that if we don't get past good green, which it's a little difficult to get past good green, then we can pivot onto something else. Green is a color I only like being in if it is like the most open color at the table. So if we get past some Llanowar Elves and stuff, absolutely, let's do the GHALTA thing. But if I just get past a bunch of like Gnarlid colonies, it's not going to be worth it. So I'm actually going to stay a little flexible here. I did literally just say, I'm going to play green, let's do the fun thing. And then now I'm like, well, I want to hedge my bets and make sure I'm not forced to play green. But, you know, you give some, you take some. Pick 3 now. Elvish Regrower actually is a pretty good green spell, so I think we can take that to stick to green. This pack's very weak in general, so this is not a bad spot to take Regrower. The other options are like Pilfer has been a fine discard spell, maybe Veteran for a really aggressive deck. But obviously the card's really bad at blocking, but this pack as a whole is pretty bad. We'll just take the Elvish Regrower here. Nice 2-for-1 value play, bringing something back from grave. Well, these packs are really weak. There's really no reason to go any other color. Like Pilfer's a fine playable in black. Soul Shackled Zombie Gutless Plunder. These are like fine filler cards, but that's the best we see is fine filler. So I guess we're just taking speculative fixing. Pick 5. No, we're only getting past giant growths. How am I getting cut out of green? But I'm actually trying to do it. And then I just get cut anyway. Well, Abrade is the most flexible, powerful spell in the pack. Arcane Epiphany, I think, is decent as well. But Abrade, again, that efficient removal is that kind of a premium. Plus, we have a Rugged Highlands towards red-green. Come on, fixes us. Pick 6. Okay, Inspiring Call, super narrow. Ambush Wolf can be okay if you have a lot of the cards that care about having power 4 or greater creatures, which in theory is what red-green is about. But you can still end up in red-green without any of those build arounds, where Gorehorn Raid is just a really good raid ability, and I think I'd rather have that. So starting in the Gruul direction here, it looks like. Oh, yeah, red is looking a lot more open than green. Black is the most open color? I could have pack 1, pick 1 stab, and then pack 1, pick 7 stab? No! Well, Annihilation. Fiery Annihilation is pretty much just as good as stab, and we actually have 2 red spells, so I'm going to take that. All of the pilfers in the universe still. Do I take that over Ambush Wolf because we just haven't seen a lot of good green? Probably not. I'm not that high on pilfer. I think we can just take the Ambush Wolf. Still have the green option, but I do think Seeker's Folly is much better than Apothecary Stomper or even Goblin Borders. This pack is just a bunch of pretty bad filler. We'll take Siphoner here. The fact that Seismic Rupture can kill like our 3-drop creature out of green is super bad. Very few actually good like Rupture decks. But Siphoner has some good decks for it if you're like a life gain deck. Okay, we are probably Gruul aggro. Gruul beats. But we do have some good black spells, and black looked pretty open. So we'll see how things go from here. All right. Pack 2, pick 1. Okay, there's Reclamation Sage, Apothecary Stomper, Thrill of Possibility, and Duplicate for Gruul. Every single one of these cards, I'm just gonna cut, and I do not want to play in a Gruul aggro deck. So we're speculating on Tragic Banshee out of black. I'm not gonna give that pick a whole ton of weight though, because it's not like I took a good black spell over good green and red spells. There just literally weren't good green and red spells. Sphinx's Tutelage is a really fun build around for a really dedicated control deck. Like to do that at some point. Here we have actual competition. Eaten Alive is certainly the best removal spell in the pack, but we are 3 cards deep into green, one of which is a GHALTA, and Bite Down is a perfectly playable green removal spell. So stick to Gruul with the Bite Down or hop over to black for Eaten Alive. GHALTA, Elvish Grower, and Ambush Wolf versus Tragic Banshee, Seeker's Folly, Sanguine Siphoner. This is basically just GHALTA versus Tragic Banshee, these 2 cards standing way above the other 2 cards in each color. Tragic Banshee probably a little stronger, but I think GHALTA's cooler enough. I will stick to my green here and take that Bite Down over the Eaten Alive. Pick 3. Garruk's Uprising can be good in this color pair because we can try to draft a lot of the like 3 mana 4 power creatures. There's even some, very few, but there's at least one 2 mana 4 power creature. We can also trigger Uprising and get the card draw from it. So let's go Uprising, I think. And then pick 4. Well, this is just a really sad pack for us in general. There are no good green, red, or black cards. There's one Light Shell Duo in blue that's pretty fine, one Angel in white that's pretty fine, but generally a really weak pack. I actually might speculate on Bloodfell Caves if we need random fixing. Beastkin Ranger's fine. 3 mana, 3/3 trample, buffs itself up when you're playing other creatures. Not a huge fan of the 5 mana removal, that's quite a lot. Pick 6. Ooh, Dragon Trainer. Affectionate Indrik is good as well, but the difference between 6 mana and 5 mana is pretty large. That can be the difference between 2 or 3 turns. Because you're not just going to have 5 lands turn 5 every time. You're not going to have 6 lands turn 6 every time. You're going to have to draw cards multiple turns in a row to hit that next land drop. Indrik is, in the right board state, a higher impact on the game. But obviously a 4/4 flyer is much better than a 4/4 on the ground, and you're getting 2 bodies out of this, so it's not significantly less impact than the fight. I'm just going to go Dragon Trainer. I also think that getting lower curve creatures to trigger Garruk's Uprising is always going to be better. The cheaper your power 4 greater creatures are, the better, the more consistently you're getting all that card draw out of this. Here I will take Strongbox Raider. It's a good little draw spell if you attacked with something that also triggers Garruk's Uprising. There is pretty fierce competition here. We're very low on cheap creatures, just like 2 mana creatures, and Wary Thespian is one of the better ones, so a little rough to take that over Thespian, but at least we get a Thespian out of the next pack. Super Filler 6-drop into the curve. Another Gorehorn Raider is actually pretty nice. Goblin Borders is potentially a 3 mana 4 power creature, so it's certainly better than Goblin Surprise in this archetype. Some nonsense we will not play. And let's see what we get out of our last pack here. This isn't literally nothing, but there's just way better white spell here, way better blue spell, a way better black spell, another way better blue spell, really good mono white life gain stuff with Pridemate and Healer Sock. And here in green, we're just like, well, Elfsworn Giant has 4 power. Because we're not a great Fire Spitter Whelp deck. We're a really bad Firebrand Archer deck. I just don't think Firebrand Archer is very good in any deck. Alright, that's a bummer of a pack to open, and then we just get past poop again. The only card taken is the rare, but none of these commons are really any good. We just take a Snakeskin Veil to protect something one time. Okay, Burst Lightning, there we go. That's a premium pickup, and I'm happy with that. I really need some solid 2-mana creatures more than anything else at this point, I think. Our curve is going to be so top heavy with this deck. It's going to be pretty funny. I'd like to cut Goblin Surprise, but I think the way our curve is looking, we're just not going to be able to do that. Yeah, because Crackling Cyclops, as much as I need 3-mana cards, it's just completely useless in this deck. So we just take yet another 5-drop. Another Dragon Trainer. Okay, now we can take Gnarlid Colony, which actually has pretty good flexibility here, but we just drop it as our 2-mana 2/2 to actually curve out. Or we can kick it later if we have like an Uprising on board and we draw into it. That's kind of a big deal. Getting it with the trample, getting the card draw out of it. I like that better than Cavalry for the Uprising synergy. So we'll take that. Ooh, ooh. Another Ambush Wolf looks good here. Better than Incinerating Blast. Because we have Lightning, Abrade, Bite Down, Annihilation. Those are all way, way, way better than Blast. My god. All the Dragon Trainers. I will train every dragon. Yeah, I don't think 3-drops are as important. The curve is like 2-drops, so I can take a 5-drop over a 3. I need to cut a 5. I'll probably drop the Elfsworn Giant. Cut one more card still. Really want to cut one of these archers. Yeah, mana curves are for chumps. I'm cutting an archer. It's just so bad. Play a Bushwhack over a land. I can turn it into a land for the 1 mana if I need it. And then not, we pretend that it's a land that let us use it as removal. That was such a good pickup. Just a 2-mana 2/2. To lower the curve's already good. We might even play Fanatical Firebrand. But I think the Cavalry's better in this deck because we have the potential just blowout curve of hasting out a GHALTA, which is absolutely hilarious. Majority of the time, this doesn't do too much, but when you haste out a GHALTA, that's kind of premium. Okay, so let's definitely ditch Apothecary Stomper. Already got tons of big stuff to do. I still really hate Firebrand Archer, so I could cut another one of those. And Fanatical Firebrand's also pretty weak. We do have another option to cut a land for a Bushwhack, but I'm actually looking at this curve and just the sheer stack of good 5-mana plays means we're kind of okay to be basically an 18-land deck. We have 17 lands and a Bushwhack as our 18th land in this deck. Yeah, I'm just going to cut these cheap spells and we're going to be pretty top-heavy here for an 18-land deck. Gruul Monsters, not really Gruul Beatdown, Gruul Monsters. It's all about this big beef up top, all the 4-power creatures. Yeah, this will be a fun one. If nothing else, we're going to be playing one of the very few green decks that I'll play in this format. We are playing green for the first time in draft in a lot of drafts. I actually don't know if I've done it on video. I probably have and just forgot. I know we played green and sealed at least once for the Win-A-Box event. That's how we got our boosters. But yeah, draft, because we have more control over what colors we end up, I just almost always end up avoiding it. So it's kind of cool to be here. We'll see if we can actually get some wins with this thing. It looks pretty fun, for sure. We could get out curved. We don't have a ton of cheap stuff. But if we get to the big creatures, like, we're going to have some beefy stuff here. So it could be a pretty fun deck. We'll see how it plays out for us as we head into the gameplay. All right, here we are for game 1. No red source. We have cheap red removal and a double red spell later. I can still, like, Gnarlid Colony into Ambush Wolves. I'm going to keep this on the draw, because we're 1 land away from casting at least 3 of these spells very early. And any land gets us to all of these. Our first draw is another double red spell, so that's not ideal. But we could still hit our lands on time here. Still have 2 draw steps before I need my first land. Playing against a blue, green, and red with that Bushwhack for fixing. Uh-oh. First land draw is another forest over our first mountain. We're on a 50-50 split in the mana base between green and red, so should be pretty likely, yeah, to find a mountain for our next land. If we hit one, it's 4 mana to do. Alright, luckily, because the Ambush Wolves have Flash, we get to just pass here. And Burst Lightning the Librarian if they try to activate it to finally figure out if that does stop them from drawing the card or not. If they don't try to activate it, we can just Ambush Wolf. Okay, they are not going to activate it. They're going to play a Battle Song Berserker. Could still kill the Librarian with the Burst Lightning because I can't ambush it because it's going to have Menace here. But I think I'm going to get aggressive and just ambush. Because then next turn I get to ambush and Burst Lightning, even if I don't hit a mountain. That makes sure I still have a good play next turn if we can't Strongbox Raider. Cool, and we can't. So I could go Ambusher and Burst Lightning, or I could go Ranger and Burst Lightning. They've got a 3/4 out there. Let's go for another Ambush Wolf. Just have a naturally 4-power creature. This can be attacking with 4-power creature a lot of the time, or can be attacking with 4 power a lot of the time, but you gotta play more creatures to do it. And it can never block as a 4-power creature like the Ambush Wolf can. Okay, Wary Thespian. It's an aura? I keep looking at their creatures. Oh, it's a bite spell? Yeah, you got it. Goodbye, Gnarlid Colony. If they attack both here, I'll trade Ambush Wolf into Berserker. Attack with just Berserker, give it Menace. Yeah, fair. They play around the second copy of Ambush Wolf. Shut off their little card draw dude. And let's see what we hit. There's Axe Guard Cavalry. We're definitely on the defensive here. Whenever we hit our second red, these cards can really take us ahead. So I think I need to just try to survive their initial Battle Song Berserker aggro. Which does play pretty bad against instant speed removal. Battlesong Berserker's ability is just really good. Forcing the double blocks. Sure. Get the 1-for-1 trade. Okay. Well, if they had some kind of trick to cast there, they would have done it. So we'll just set up for the same block here. 3/3 and a 2/2 on the Menacing Berserker. Unless they draw into a trick, we'll have the double block on Berserker. One-sided board wipe is pretty good. Tapped. Red source is pretty bad. But at least it is the red mana. Got all the cards we need to turn this around and get ahead here, but looks like they're going to be too late. We just couldn't hit the second red mana in time. Yeah, we got a Regrower as well. God, we have so much value. But I have the Dragon Trainer to block. It's the only way to get 2 creatures out this turn. And then we die to like any removal. I don't literally die, but I go like 2 life, and then there's no way to stabilize from there. You got me. 0-1 heading into game 2. Alright, here we are on the play for game 2. We get to go Ambush Wolf into a raid trigger depending on what land we hit, or how much land we hit. We can ambush into Goblin Borders, but if we top deck any land, ambushing into Strongbox Raiders pretty strong. They've got Evolving Wilds here to show us their second color. Red-black, some Rakdos. They definitely have a Burst Lightning or something in their hand. They could do it right now to shut off our raid trigger, then we can just play an Ambush Wolf anyway. Still use our mana. If they let me get the raid trigger, I'll play the borders. They have to choose between saving the Burst Lightning in case I play a better creature post-combat, or using it right now to stop any potential raid triggers, and they chose to hold on to it. If they have that specifically, they have something at instant speed. Okay, it looks like probably not Burst Lightning or a Braid, or they likely would have killed the Ambush Wolf by the end of the turn at least. Snakeskin Veil. It's the draw. Would have much preferred mana, but that is interesting here. I think I just accept any 1-for-1 trade. I don't use the Veil unless they use their own trick, because we know they have some kind of instant. It could be like a Sure Strike or something, where if I like try to Snakeskin Veil to beat their Axeguard Cavalry, and then they respond with their Sure Strike, I'm in a horrible position. Oh, it was Burst Lightning. Alright, well, I'll stop that. Have a 5-4 on board instead of a 4-2. Oh! Goodbye. Pretty happy to have Fire Annihilation, because that is one of the cards that can literally infinite combo you in draft. If they have this and then the common that lets you have each opponent lose a life whenever you gain a life, those two cards just infinite your opponent to death. So this just, you have to kill it immediately every time because of the threat of that combo. And even if they don't have that combo, this card's really gross. Gives you so much life gain. Basically everything in your deck has lifelink whenever it's damaging your opponent. Alright, Cerberus is exactly big enough to be pretty frustrating. We definitely need mana, so let's bushwhack into that. Got a lot of red spells in hand. Let's actually get another red source. And then I actually think I'm going to land Werewolves here so that no matter what I draw, I know I can go Gorehorn Raider next turn. So that actually feels like the best raid trigger. Same with Siphoner. Okay, so Borders gets to trade into Cerberus to unlock Raider's raid ability to kill the Ghoul. Or sorry, kill the Cavalry is better. Well, that's a bad enough trade, I think, to just go for Dragon Trainer, and if the Flyer sticks around, then I can just raid trigger next turn to kill Cerberus, and then start beating it on the ground. Okay, Eaten Alive, fair enough. Okay, at this point I'm just going to have to start chaining Gorehorn Raiders together, but that's a really good way to win the game, so it is worth sacking a Goblin Borders. And it's not even like a sack, like we are trading 1-for-1 there. But that activates our Gorehorns as 2-for-1s. And then they're just going to keep clearing this board out. Gorehorn Raider doing a really good impression of Ravenous Chupacabra right now. Just a big creature that destroys any creature when it hits the board. Sure. Let's see what our Strongbox Raider finds us. And this we can play it until the end of our next turn, so we don't have to play it immediately. GHALTA, hello, I'll play that immediately for 2 mana. Whee! We got to GHALTA somebody. Although, to be fair, if GHALTA was pretty much any creature, they'd be dead here. It's just a little cooler that it's a GHALTA. We are 1-1 heading into Game 3. Alright, here we are for Game 3 with the control hand. Blow up the threat. Play a big bomb. This bite down's really awkward in here. But we've got all 5 mana we need for Dragon Trainer now. Now Dragon Trainer to Gorehorn Raider, we saw how much work that card can do. Goodbye, Truffle Snout. Alright, and there's our play for this turn. Now we've got an Ambush Wolf. And has played out wonderfully. There's their Grux Uprising. We've got a lot of 4-power creatures if we find our own. It's going to lock in for a raid trigger here, but there's nothing to kill with the raid trigger anyway, so I'm just going to Dragon Trainer first. Getting 4 damage to their face is still pretty good. Green, red, and blue again. Another Splashing Zimone deck. Uh-oh. Okay, no. Just a Truffle Snout for now. But that does draw them a card off Uprising. Uprising gonna play just beautifully here. Let's get the Raider kill here to keep as much power on this board as possible. Then I can double removal spell next turn, and then just swing everybody for lethal. I probably should have played this. We don't have anything in this deck. I'm pretty sure we don't have anything that lets us discard a card to draw a card or anything like that. We didn't play any Tormenting Voice, and they're not playing black to force us to discard this to a Burglar Rat or anything. But I do already have the mana I need to play Annihilation and Bite down in the same turn. I just could draw into something else that I need. Let's see, I've got 3 mana for Annihilation. I could draw into like 7 mana card, or 7 mana worth of plays, and want to do them all in the same turn later, but I can only play 1 land per turn. Like, I guess that only comes up if I skip playing a land again next turn and then draw a 4 mana card. But you get the gist. Annihilation is actually better against open mana than Bite Down, because if they have instant speed removal and they respond to our Bite Down by killing one of our creatures, that's really bad. This can be Ambush Wolf. Bite Down's an instant, so if it's Ambush Wolf, we win. It's gotta be a removal spell. And it is. Still in a really good spot. They're at 3 life, and we've got a removal spell still. Really happy with my choice of Annihilation over Bite Down there, but technically I could have done Bite Down if I did a 4 toughness creature and it still would have worked. Let's do this before they draw the card. Make it less likely they can blow up this Raider. Or less likely they can have a Snakeskin Veil off of that 1 green mana. Alright, and that is dead on board. 2-1 it is, heading into game number 4. Another control hand here. Burst Lightning and a Braid. No creatures to trigger the Strongbox Raider. It's so awkward, but it's so hard to mulligan any hand that actually just has its colors ready in draft. Like, we've got our color set. And that is hopefully enough. Got the good mana and the rest will follow, I promise. That's so funny that Llanowar Elves is a good draw here just because of Raid. Not because of the mana, but because we want the Raid trigger. Let's go, and they thought we had a trick. Feels really good. Huh. Well, if they have removal for Raider, then this is going to be tragic. But if they don't, then we're going to resolve a GHALTA. Oh my god. Let's go. I think if they had removal, they should have just used it on Raider there. So it feels like they probably don't have removal for the GHALTA. Or they just didn't see the line. Oh my god, they don't have removal for GHALTA. This might just be GHALTA GG. Card kills them in like 2 swings easily. Go to 7. Just prevent some of the damage here. Yeah, they just scoop them up. Alright. Took a pretty risky line there of exiling the GHALTA to the Strongbox Raider, but the reward is certainly there. If they don't have removal in their hand, getting that turn 6 GHALTA is going to be lethal. The big risk there, of course, is that if they had removal and they killed Strongbox Raider, this GHALTA would now cost me way too much mana, so we just wouldn't have even drawn a card off the Strongbox Raider, so really risky line there, but we got really lucky that it paid off, and we are 3-1 heading into game number 5. Alright, here we are for game 5. Pretty fun hand here. We get to try out the Garruk's Uprising thing. Another green-red deck. Arena matchmaking, getting funky with it. Seeing all the green today. Heraldic Banner, so they are going to be ramping up. They're on the play with the banner, so things are going to get super big, super fast. They're playing a 5-drop this turn. If they have one, it looks like they don't. There's a Wary Thespian. And the Bite Down to stop our Raid trigger. That's actually really nasty here. I probably have to just Llanowar Elves with all these 5-drops. I've got the Snakeskin Veil to protect it, but I am going to have to take 4 to the face. They might play their own Gorehorn Raider, in which case, pretty good thing we've got a Snakeskin Veil. Another banner? One on green, one on red, or double on green? One on green, one on red it is. Now they've got double red if they need it. Oof, and the Sear Slicer Goblin with the raid trigger and the red banner, so all the tokens are 2/1s. Okay, this could end real fast for us. Let's get the maximum number of blockers we can this turn. I don't think I just Annihilation and that's it. Oh boy. Oh boy, now I have to Annihilation the Animist instead of the Sear Slicer, so that thing just gets to keep working. I did hit the 6th land, which is really good. Or the 6th mana, I should say. I have to Annihilation Animist, so it's Annihilation and Goblin Borders or Annihilation and Garruk's Uprising. Let's go Annihilation Uprising. We've got a 4 toughness creature against a bunch of 3 power stuff. But they've got a lot of power there going wide here. Second Dragon Trainer is going to be huge here with all these 1 toughness creatures on their board. Just a 1/1 is already a good blocker. We're just banking on this Garruk's Uprising, just taking us all the way to victory with the card draw. Yep, send both so they can poke me for 2 and get a raid trigger. Yep, the raid triggers the Goblin and the Raider. The Raider doesn't look like it finds anything. Oh god, it found GHALTA. There's literally nothing in green-red that can kill a GHALTA, so we auto-lose. Fair enough, we did it to somebody earlier. But, it's a tragic way to end that one. The 3 rares in a row, Sear Slicer Goblin into Animist into GHALTA, did not have a ton of fun. If they just played 2 rares, that would have been pretty exciting stabilization there. If they like raided into just a normal creature, they'd still be in a really good position after Sear Slicer Animist just popping off so long. But we could try to really grind it out, because then we Dragon Trainer for 2 more blockers, plus draw a card off Uprising, and we're holding up a Snakeskin Veil off the Land Elves, so we're this forest. Would have been an exciting game to try to stabilize, but just having infinite rares in deck is not going to make that a possibility. Three and 2, heading into game 6. Alright, here we are for game 6. The status Land Elves. Turn 2 Land Elves because of a tap land. As always, disappointing. But now I can Land Elves and Burst Lightning turn 2. Kill this Librarian before it draws them any cards. This is especially good if they try to use a green removal spell on Land Elves. It's not super likely, but would be pretty good. I can trade an Ambush Wolf into Beastkin Ranger, or I can play a Cavalry and a Snakeskin Veil, and then try to haste out Dragon Trainer next turn. I kind of like that. Cavalry giving the Dragon Haste can turn the race around. We can just take the Ranger damage this turn. And this is especially good if they try to kill Land Elves with anything, which is again not really likely out of green-blue. But possible. Well, so much for that. That just auto trades into the the dragon. Two for one trade, obviously not the greatest, but since this giant spider is just going to trade the dragon anyway, don't really care about the haste. You love to see that. I'll save the Gorehorn Raider for another day. That's fine by me. Sure. They really need the bushwhack. Well, if they have Refute, that's going to be pretty disgusting. Well, they definitely don't have Refute. Things are looking good. Let's see you survive at 2. They cannot. That is 4 and 2. We are at a positive record no matter what happens here. And at least breaking even on gems. Good stuff from Gruul. Nowhere near a 7 win yet, but we have gotten more wins than losses, and that is certainly something for a green deck. Right? We're on the draw. Bite down doesn't do anything until we hit a creature. These raid cards don't do anything unless we hit a creature to play before we raid with them. As much as I say that you can probably just keep any hands with good mana, this one's really, really bad without drawing an early creature, because Bite Down doesn't do anything, Snakeskin Veil doesn't do anything, none of our raid triggers do anything, there's just a 4 mana 5, there's just a 5 mana 4/4. This hand can go so badly with bad draws, so we'll take the mulligan. Colony into Ambush Wolf into Dragon Trainer later. I will ditch. I think I ditched the Bushwhack. Go all in on Curvin here. It's a good draw. Playing against mono blue so far. That's our turn 4 land. Oh, they've got the Essence Scatter? Or a Think Twice. Think Twice it is. Here comes a Refute. Yeah, I'm not playing a better spell next turn. Let's just Wolf right now. They can't refute the Wolf. Oh no, Burst Lightning! They're a red deck! Wolf, no! Don't die to a 1-mana spell. I believe in you. No! So tragic. I've got the regrower at least. That's definitely nice. And if they are holding up a refute, they're going to feel real bad. Because I'm not casting anything. Crackling Cyclops. Sure. Get out of the way, please. Thank you. No refute means great turn for Dragon Trainer. But they could have Scatter. In which case we'll regrower the Dragon Trainer. And still be fine. Niv-Mizzet. Do it. Show me the Nivy. Be kind of happy to lose to Niv. Oh no! Leyline Axe. Oh no. That's very concerning. Any creature they play is an insanely important threat to kill now. They have double scatter. Okay. They do not have double scatter. If they have the 3-mana counter, though, then they know to hold it up. But if they hold it up, that means not impacting the board, and they're at 12 life, so they need to impact the board. They have 6 mana, 7 mana, so they can spend 4 mana worth of stuff impacting the board and still have the 3-mana counter spell up. Cha-ching! Thank you very much, Snakeskin Veil, very cool. Alright, show me like a full-on board wipe where we've got lethal here. Bouncer on the dragon token's pretty good, but only 1 card left. They just equip the bouncer. Wow, Leyline Axe is filthy. Because I just realized that alone stops us. God dang it, Leyline Axe. Because they first strike my Trampler, and then I deal 3 and they go to 2. Wow, they might just wombo stabilize off of Leyline Axe. I can't just attack 2 turns in a row. I put them to 2, I put them to 1, and then I have nothing but a 1/1 left. That's only if they play nothing this turn that I would put them to 1 on the next attack. I'm just looking for a braid or something. Oh, lower to draw 3. 4 cards to 0 in hand. Guess I have 2 Gorehorn Raider in the deck. Maybe it was fine to attack. They're just trying to get the Gorehorn Raiders. Not attacking plays better if I draw a Braid or Bite Down. Attacking is better if I draw Gorehorn Raider, Gorehorn Raider. It's kind of a 50-50. They got the 3-mana counterspell this time. Okay, well we've tapped them out from interacting on board, so I can put them to 2 here if I want. Which again gives us 2 lethal draws. The double Gorehorn Raider. I suppose Burst Lightning also becomes lethal, so that's 3 lethal draws if I swing. Man, alright, let's put them to 2. They're not going to have life gain in blue-red. It just feels like there's almost definitely more blockers and removal spells in their deck than just counter spells. And the only way for drawing into like an Abrade or a Bite down to be lethal is for them to not play any more removal spells or blockers. But if I want to draw one of my direct damage things to be lethal, then the only thing they can have to stop that is counter spells, period. Blockers don't matter, removal spells don't matter. So it feels more likely to try to go for burn to the face as lethal. Getting a Surveil here is good. We might just be dead next turn. Eight damage off a bouncer. I only have 2 toughness. So I take 6 there and 3 in the sky. Okay, I'm not dead. On board. Could still be dead to stuff in their hand. Alright, you got me. Balmor will do that. They just need to cast like 1 spell for this to be lethal. This is all the damage I can possibly stop, and we are about to take like 15. Man, it's so frustrating. Get Leyline Axed out of it. Bouncer plus Leyline Axe for the perfectly timed double block. Not literal double block, but Bouncer kills the dragon and then blocks the next thing without dying. Just like exactsies too. Man. Yeah, that was tough. I mean, classic core set fashion. Strong rares are strong. We got a free win off of a GHALTA. We got demolished by an opponent who triple rared us with the raid creature into the GHALTA, and we had to spend removal on their Animist rare, or that would have beat down so hard. And this final game just completely comes down to that Leyline Axe making their blocks just good enough to barely scrape by at that 2 life. They're dead without that Leyline Axe. Even if it was just like another creature, we would have been trading into both the creatures on the attack to clear out the board so they wouldn't have blockers on future attacks. It's the fact that it gave the double strike here that was so huge to prevent us from swinging multiple turns in a row. Yeah. Tragic, but we still get a positive record with the green deck, so I will take that. We are 4-3 today with our Gruul pile. We got to do our own pretty explosive bomb rare stuff, but just with a single rare in this deck, 1 GHALTA, our pack 1 pick 1. That's the only rare we found all draft, but it was strong and it was fun. Just not quite strong enough to pull off a full 7 winner. Just a nice average 4-3, getting pretty much our full entry fee back out of this. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.